Hi, you guys. How's it going? Hello. Nice to see everyone. I'm Anna. Today we're going to be doing a TRX all levels class. So I'm going to give you a couple options throughout class to up level and to down level your workout. You'll need your TRX strap. I'm going to give you a couple optional props that you can use. A couple things you can grab kind of while we chat before we get started. Highly recommend some water, a glass of water, a water bottle. You can sip and take breaks in between. If we do a little bit of balancing work in the class, if you have a foam roller or the back of a chair, back of a sofa, anything to assist with your balance, I would recommend grabbing something like that. If you've got sensitive knees, we're not doing a ton of kneeling, but if you have a yoga mat, you can fold your yoga mat under your knees. Grab a towel. If you have an ACE kneeling pad, you can be creative and use like a sweatshirt as well. And I'll show you guys this in the class too, but just nice to have around if you've got some sensitive knees. An option to up level will be also if you have any small weight. So medicine ball, kettlebell, something, toning ball, small weight like 5 to 10 pounds. Obviously you can do any of these exercises without these props too. And know that you can also do any of these exercises without the TRX. There's a lot of shoulder work and a lot of deep knee flexion in the class. So if you want to ditch the strap, and I'll remind you, but know that you don't have to wait for my permission. You can take your lunges, your plank work without your feet in the strap. And I'll give you these suggestions and reminders throughout class. A couple basic ways to up level and down level your workout today are to increase and decrease the angle of your body. So if you want a little bit more, just walk under your TRX for your rows. If you want a little less, walk away. And I'll remind you today too, throughout class, that you can take those. Wide base, wide legs is going to be a little more supportive versus a narrow stance or single leg. So play with all of these options. Know that they're available to you throughout the workout. Just keep an eye on your body, right? How's your breathing? If you catch yourself holding your breath or hyperventilating, pause. You're not obligated to do every single rep or every single exercise. So if you need to listen to your body and take a break, take a child's pose, drink some water, just keep an eye on how you're feeling and really let your body guide you. So let's get started. We're gonna start today with a little stretch here. So we'll take our TRX strap. We're gonna actually take it behind our back. And I'm starting with my right hand, but we'll do both sides. I'm gonna take my strap into my right hand and walk away so that I've got a little bit of tension. And right now I have my tabs just set towards the top. For the stretch, they can kind of be anywhere. Just find that end of tension here. And then I'm just gonna tilt my left ear to my left shoulder and nod my chin down. So just take a couple breaths here, nodding your ear towards your shoulder and then nodding your chin. Just moving with your breath. We're going to start pretty gentle. TRX can get pretty intense pretty fast, so that's a nice, yummy stretching at the beginning and end. And last one here. And then we'll unwind. So I'm going to keep my right hand in my straps, got them through both. And I'm just going to take a little twist. Yeah, and there's not too much rule following in this one in terms of form. You're just going to keep a little bit of tension into the straps and let your torso rotate towards the left. So I'm rotating away from my right leg, extending that leg back. And just finding some nice breath here. And then we'll try the other side. So I'll show you, you can see this from the back. I'm going to take my straps into my left hand. I'm keeping that shoulder nice and rolled open, just easy legs here. And then I'm going to let my chin nod towards my shoulder. And then letting my ear come towards my shoulders, taking a nice gentle neck stretch. Kind of checking in with your breath if you've been sitting a lot this week. We'll start to move nice and slowly. Last one here. And then coming back up, you're gonna unwind again. So now I've got my left hand in my straps. And now it's time, so I'm gonna twist to the right, lengthening my left leg back, and just adding a little bit of tension into the strap to get a nice stretch through my armpit, through my ribs, all the way through that left line of the body. The right arm can be anywhere, just moving with your breath. Try 2 more here. And a little twist to the spine. And then we'll unwind here and we'll face our TRX. And I'm starting with my yellow tabs towards the top. You can always make an adjustment throughout class as it is a little bit pick point and also height dependent. So just a reminder of your strap adjustments. When you want to lengthen your strap, you're going to pull your buckle down. And then when you want to lift your straps, you're going to take that yellow tab, pull the buckle down, and then pull it back up to the top. So I'm starting with mine just at the top here. I want to have my hands about hip height. And then with my feet underneath me, I'm going to take a little spinal articulation. So nodding my chin, feeling my spine away from the wall, behind me, lengthening my arms forward. And I can bend my knees here for the first one. That feels nice. Take a breath in and then exhale, scoop through the abdominals as you press your palms into the straps to drag your spine all the way back up into your stack. And moving with your breath, so nodding your chin, really imagine that you could move one vertebrae at a time. As you reach forward, you get to trust a little more weight into your arms. So you're having to stabilize through your back and through your abdominals. When you get to the bottom, open your sits bones. Again, either bending the knees or keeping the legs actively straight. You're going to scoop your abdominals, press down into the straps, and then pull back up. And you can move a little faster through these. You can move a little slower. If it feels good to close your eyes and just get a sense of where your weight is in your feet, where the articulation is in the spine. See if you can find a little more articulation in the places that feel like they're not moving quite as smoothly today. Last one here. Easy breath, and then exhale to scoop to come all the way back up. Nice, so we'll start with an easy squat. So we'll bring our elbows just kind of at a 45-degree angle by our sides. You want to make sure that that strap is taut. And then with legs about hip or a little bit wider than hip distance, we're just going to sit into that squat and then press back up. So just an easy knee bends. Obviously, you can adjust, right, how low you go. Make sure you're really pressing into your heels. You can think about pressing out as if there's a band wrapped around your thighs. So you're getting your outer hips to work for you here. I want to watch out for arching through the low back and popping the ribs. So see if you can keep the abs engaged, even though we still want to get a nice opening through the sits bones. Just moving with your breath. Just getting started. If you've got some fun music, maybe turn it up a little bit. And then we'll take our last one here. We're going to come into our low row. So for this one, if you want more, you can walk your feet further underneath your straps. And for less, walk your feet back. I want to make sure that my straps are nice and taut. I'm going to lengthen back and then exhale to pull. Same, about 45-degree low row position with the elbows. And then see if you connect in with your scapula. So as I pull, I'm retracting towards my spine, and then I'm bending my elbows to watch out for getting into this internal rotation through the front of my shoulder. Now for a little more challenge, maybe opt for going a little slower on the way back out. I'm going to lengthen for the count of 3 and then pull for 1. Right, so we're strengthening our muscles by working our eccentric line. So here's my lengthening eccentric versus just the concentric, which is our pull. And if you want a little more, maybe you play with a leg balance. You'll notice a big difference between sides if you've got some imbalances here. That can be kind of fun to play with. Think about 2 more like this. Last one. Nice, then you can walk your feet back just to protect your low back as you're transitioning. So now we're going to flip around. So for this, I'm going to face away, and I'm going to take my straps into about a shoulder distance position, and my legs about shoulder distance here to start. I'm going to take a chest press, so my abs are lifted. I'm going to draw my chest towards my fist, and then exhale to press away. Still thinking about getting that nice slide through my scapula, so my shoulder blades get to retract towards my spine and then lengthen away. It's really easy to leave the bum here, so adjust to an angle where you feel like you can take your pelvis with you. It's going to be a little more work if you step your feet further back. I like to go up a little bit into my heels, just so I can find that my legs are really active in supporting me too, so I've got glutes and inner thighs supporting this push-up position. Nice elbows nice and wide, keeping your head nice and lengthened. Take about 2 more here. Last one. Okay, so we'll stay facing away. We're going to go into an alternating lunge. So for this one, I want to have tension in my straps the whole time. So I'm stepping out and switching, but not only am I pressing with my supporting leg, but I'm actually pressing into my hands. And that's going to kind of help me find this balance about these 3 big points. And I'm letting my arms just kind of move around in a snow angel sort of situation. So arms are going up towards my head and then back down towards my side. So I'm getting a nice active stretch through the front of my chest. And again, you can move a little slower, making sure that your knees are tracking over your toes. See if you can really push through the ball of your foot to get your glute to activate here. Try one more snow angel arm, and then get your right leg forward. Arms are going to come up to the ceiling, and we're just going to take a little pulse. Abs are in. We want to watch out for tucking the pelvis. So see if you can keep your tailbone dropping down and your head lengthened towards the ceiling. You get to press into the strap here. Again, knees tracking over your toes. Nice back hip is wrapped forward. Abs around for 3, 2, last one, and then you can shake it out. I promise we'll come back to that. We're going to leave it for a moment now. We're going to come back to our spot. So this time, we're going to take a little arm circle with our squats. Again, finding your strap nice and taut. We're sitting back down, sweeping the arms overhead, and then again, sitting into that squat. Still in our warm-up phase. Really let your arms circle all the way from your middle back. So you can imagine your scapula on your rib cage, and let those slide and glide as you open your armpits forward. These big arm circles here. Go for about 3. Knees tracking over toes, using the glutes to press up. 2. Last one. All right. Now we're going to take our row again. This time we're going to go into a high row position. So again, I'm making sure that my strap has no slack, lengthening back, and then pulling elbows nice and wide. Again, all of those options are available to you with leg floating, with narrow stance, or wide stance. You can increase or decrease your angle, play with what feels good, right? And maybe you take each rep with a slightly different variation. Mix it up a bit here. Keeping the head nice and long, abs are on, so we're watching for bowing in the back. Okay, one more like this. All right, let's flip around again. So we're gonna come back around. This time we're gonna try a tricep variation of our push-up position on the TRX. So now I've got my arms again about shoulder distance. This time I'm gonna bend my elbows so that my wrist comes towards my forehead. And then I'm pressing back straight. Really keeping those wrists nice and strong. Again, you have a couple options here. Wide legs are gonna be a little more supportive, narrow, a little more challenging. You can go one-legged in any of these as well. And you can also play with moving further back to increase your challenge. Try about 3 more here. Coordinate the breath in a way that's helpful for you. So maybe it's an exhale during the part that feels like the most challenging. Keeping the low back nice and long. We're gonna come back to those lunges. This time as we lunge, we're gonna add a twist. So again, I've got my palms rotated forward. I'm gonna rotate towards the thigh that's in front, still pressing into those straps. and then I'm gonna switch. So we're adding a little bit more of an element of instability here with the torso switching from side to side. So check in with your abs, making sure the core is active in this twist. And then don't forget you've got your straps. So I've got 3 points of contact that I can push from to give me a little bit more stability. You're keeping your knees tracking over your toes. And see if you can really twist from the waist so that the hips stay square. Try about 4 more here. Moving with your breath. Good, last one. Bring your left leg forward if it's not forward already, and then bring your arms back up for those pulses to the other side. Again, I want to make sure my hips are square. I also want to make sure that, again, I'm not tucking the pelvis, but I'm letting it really drop down. Abs are in. A little bit of pressure through those straps. Checking to make sure that your knees tracking over your toes. Back to the straps forward. Use your glute. Nice for 3, 2, 1. And then shake it out. So we'll come back around. We're going to go into another variation, kind of doing this warm up with a little bit of a circuit feeling. Bring your palms. So I'm bringing my hands into my straps above the padded part of the handle. And I'm bringing my palms forward. So we're kind of doing a wall slide variation. I'm coming into a turned out position, and I'm going to bend into my squat, but keep my torso upright and then push back up. So keep tension, just like you did in your lunges, into the straps. And I'm only going to go so far down as I can keep my tailbone dropping down rather than tucking or shooting backwards, and my body upright. Now, based on how much turnout you have, you can adjust your feet in a little more or out a little, but I want to make sure that your knees are tracking over your toes. So the rotation's really coming from your thigh and not from the lower leg, which can really get into the knees here. So if you're feeling anything in the knees, check out your turnout and adjust so it's really coming from the rotation of the thigh bone here. Really pressing out, kind of like a side glute exercise. Think about 3 more like this. Last 2. And last 1. All right, we're going to add a little bit to our row combination. I'm going to come back into that wide row position. Again, my straps are taut. I can walk my feet under, walk my feet back. I'm going to lengthen my arm, and I'm going to take that row. And I'm going to hold my row, and I'm going to rotate my arms forward. Kind of like I'm making a W with my upper body. Then I'm going to come back into my wide row and lengthen away. This is a 2-part row here. So I'm pulling, I'm rotating to show the inside of my arm, rotating back, and then lengthening, all while still keeping my plank shape. So I really want to watch out for bowing in the back or letting the ribs pop. So keeping those abdominals engaged, nice and tight. And still moving with my breath. Right, again, any of those options of stance position or depth are available to you. You can also play with slowing it down a little, especially on that release back into your row position. See if you can keep your elbows in the same place and space rather than letting them drop down as you rotate. So you're having to really pull and press up. Try 2 more here. And your thighs are active if your legs are together. Give you a little bit more assistance here. Nice. And then shake it out. We're going to flip around. We're going to come back to our original chest row. So kind of last set here, if these are your favorite. We will be leaving these for a moment after this. So we're going to come into our push-up position. Again, we're going to set out shoulder distance here. And I'm going to bring my chest down and then exhale to press. So you're kind of keeping that same wide elbow position that we just did in our row. We're just flipping it to face the other way. Again, as you get tired, notice if the bum's wanting to pop back or if the ribs are wanting to pop. Head's wanting to drop, just take a little body scan, go through that form. Again, I love to come up just a little bit onto the balls of my feet, so a little more support here. Try about 1 more like this. variation. We've been doing those lunges facing away. But this time we're gonna play with a single leg balance. So for this one, I'm gonna lunge with my right leg forward first. And I do wanna have a little bit of tension. And I'm gonna try to press my arms down and come to a float with that leg back. So lunging with the right leg, pressing with the arms, pushing with the right foot to come into a single leg balance. And I'm not so worried about what this leg looks like in the back, but I really want to push through the ball of the foot and use that press of the arms to get me into that balance position. Once you're here, if this is feeling good, take a tricep press. So I'm going to find my balance, take a little tricep press on one leg, a little more exciting that way. We'll take about 3 more on this side for a total of 6. Now, if you need a little more support, since the balance makes it a little more challenging, maybe you don't go quite as low. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Nice, and don't forget to breathe. So let's try the other side here. So again, we have slightly different balance usually from side to side. We're not perfectly symmetrical, and that's okay. So play with finding those 3 points of contact to help build your balance. So I want to be able to really press through the straps and really kick through that supporting leg. Find the abs. And once you stick your balance, maybe we come into that little tricep press. What you might also notice, if you're having a challenge with the balance here, is if your torso is wanting to side bend. So see if you can keep your hips, ribs, shoulders all in alignment and keep equal length through both sides of your torso. Last one here. Fun. Okay, let's look back around. All right, so now we're going to go into a couple different things. We're going to start with a side step to step. This can be in parallel or in turnout. I want you to choose what feels most comfortable in your hips, but also really thinking about keeping your knee tracking over your ankles. So we're starting in that same position, straps taut, elbows by my side. I'm going to step out and then push back up. I'm just going to switch sides here. And you can adjust if you need to move around if you're in a small space. Right, just angle it. You can still do all of these things if you're not perfectly centered in front of your pick point. Checking to make sure that your knees tracking over your toes. And then if you want to add a little more excitement, add a little jump in the middle. A little cardio. Okay, it can be really easy. You can barely have your toes leave the ground. Or if you want a little more, you can really push through the feet and point on each step, side to side. So as you're getting a little tired maybe, see if you can lengthen your arms. So we want to make sure we're not over gripping on our handles. Usually that's a sign of some unnecessary tension. Or if the elbows are here the whole time, the shoulders want to get involved. And one more on each side. Obviously, if you're not jumping today, you can take a plie without a jump. Last one. Nice. All right. We're going to come back to that row that we played with, but add a little bit more. So we'll start with our elbows high, lengthening back. Adjust your angle here for your challenge. You're going to pull, rotate. Now, pressing your hands against an imaginary wall behind you. You're going to reach your arms up and lengthen really slow here, control, to come back down. If that feels a little too challenging to be able to maintain this position with good form, stick with that first version that we did. So just finding rotation, rotating back, and lengthening forward. The other option, of course, is to decrease your angle so you have a little more support. So the challenge here is, can you keep your spine in a really nice plank position? So abs are engaged. As I'm lengthening my arms back up, my wrists are really strong and I'm trying not to lock my elbows. Yeah. Okay, one more here. Can you go a little slower on that lengthen away? and walk your feet back. Give it a little shake. We're going to come into an alternating lunge now. So same starting position. We're just stepping one leg back and switching. Feels so easy now after that last time one, right? So if you want a little bit more, maybe play with floating that back foot. Right, you're going to get a little more work through the front quad, glute and hamstring. If you want a little more still, we're going to do about 15 seconds of some jumping lunges. So with our jumping lunges, I want you to think about like a jumping jack. So you're landing and taking off of both feet the whole time, rather than a staggered landing or takeoff. So kind of envision your jumping jacks in your mind's eye. And then if you're going to take these 15 seconds, we'll start now. If you're not, continue your alternating lunges. So we're pulling, switch. A good way to make this a little easier, keep your range smaller until you get that coordination, and then you can make your lunge a little bigger. Let's go for about 5, and 4, and 3, 2, last one. Alternately, you could do jumping lunge squats every time you wash your hands for like 20 seconds, right? So let's go into a little twist. You've got your straps, you're going to go into a wide squat position and sit back. Now this should feel pretty nice, not super cardiovascular or challenging. You're just going to push your straps overhead and twist your upper body to look behind you. Come back and sit. And try the other side. And this is really just to get a little bit of rotation through our thoracic spine. Should feel kind of nice. Also good to kind of check in and notice your rotation from side to side, where you're feeling the stretch, where you feel like you have more or less access. And then maybe kind of put that away for what you want to work on later, if it's myofascial or specific exercises. Kind of find that balance. Try one more on each side. All right, shake it out. So we're going to come into a bow and arrow. So for bow and arrow, it looks pretty much like a bow and arrow. I'm going to start with my arms long and then walking my feet forward into my row position of choice. I'm going to go into a wide row with my left arm, but I'm going to pull my right arm straight out to the side. And I can look to my straight arm. Then I'm going to lengthen with control back down. Try the other side. So I'm pulling my right arm wide, and I'm lengthening my left arm as if I'm pulling to shoot a bow and arrow. And as you switch from side to side, see if you can keep your gaze rotating from right to left, following that straight arm. Now just be conscientious if you've got a little bit of hypermobility, if you like to lock your elbows. Try not to pop into your straight arm, but control the lengthening and not pulling away to protect that joint. And abs are on. Again, you can play with any stance that you want. I'm going to leave that up to you. Playing with your speed, slowing it down a little bit to make it more challenging. Lengthening that return away so you're getting a little bit more work during your eccentric. Let's try one more on each side. All right, check it out. We're going to do another set of jumping squats. We're going to go for, again, about 15 seconds. If you're not jumping, you can just take your squats normally, or maybe add a little bit of a releve. So if you were to add your releve, sitting back down, lifting the heels, and lowering the heels, right? And again, take breaks as you need. If you're squat jumping with us, we're going to do some really easy squat jumps where you can spend more time in your plie, or really dynamic jumps where you're really pointing through the toes. The straps are going to let you get up a little higher if you really pull back on this. So take a breath. Here you go for about 15 seconds of jump squats. So as you're jumping here, aside from still breathing, pretty important, notice that you can really articulate through your feet if you're going for your big jumps, that your knees are still tracking over your toes, and you're still utilizing your abs. Go for about 5 more seconds here. Deep breath. Last 3. And 2. And 1. Woo. Okay. While our legs are a little bit on fire, we're going to go into a combo. I'm going to start with my left leg supporting. We'll do that combo a few times on that side, then we'll switch. So for this one, I'm going to come into my starting position, elbows back. I'm going to start with a curtsy squat. So my right leg goes behind my left calf and ankle and turn out. Then I'm going to come up, I'm going to flip my palms. I'm going to come into an airplane. So warrior 3, the shape might look familiar, you're a yogi. I'm going to use my abs pressed down through the straps to come up. I'm going to come into a pistol squat. First version of a pistol squat. Little baby pistol squat. Keeping it light, keeping the knee up. Or if you're going for your full pistol squat, extending the leg forward, going as low as you can, and then pushing through your supporting leg as you pull with your elbows back. Check in with your pick point alignment as you're balanced for your airplane. It can be a little bit more challenging if your pick point isn't quite in line with you. So let's go for that on six times on the first side, and then 6 times on the opposite side. So starting with that curtsy squat, pulling and finding your balance for a moment, flipping your palm, pushing through the ball of your foot and dragging that straps up, and then taking your variation of your pistol squat. If you want more challenge, flip that back foot. Try to keep your hips square, your torso even, and notice if one hand starts to lose pressure, press a little bit more through that strap, and that should help with your balance. Number 3 here, finger palms, arms are in, watch for locking that supporting knee. Nice. Number 4, easy breath. You want to keep constant tension on the straps the whole time, and that will help with your balance. 5. Last one here. Flipping the palms. And lengthening that leg away. All the way up. Ooh, shake it up. We're going to go into a little row to mix it up a bit. Then we'll go to the other side. So you're going to take your right strap and pull it tight. So you just want to make sure there's no slack at the top. For a single arm row, I want to make sure my shoulder head isn't tipping forward so there's a little bit more load. So you can roll your shoulder up and back to get your scapula to retract a little bit. Your left hand can be by your side, at your hip, maybe across your body, whatever gives you good feedback to stay square in your torso. I want to make sure my strap is taut. Then when I'm ready, I'm going to lengthen my arm back and then exhale to row. Yeah, abs are on. It's really great sometimes just to connect in with those obliques. If your body peels away, it's going to be a little bit more work. So then you have to work to peel it all the way back into neutral before you row. Try one more here, and then we're going to add a twist. So on the twist, I'm going to sweep my left arm up towards the strap, so rotated towards the arm that's pulling. Version 1, I'm going to bend my legs. I'm going to twist to the opposite side. I'm curling my arm. Then I'm going to sweep it back up and push with my legs. We're going to take about 5 more of these single row twists. If you want a little more challenge, keep your plank position as you unwind. So you're getting a little bit more work in your arm. It feels good to come into slight extension in your upper body, and you can support that with your abs. That is totally fine with me. Last one here. Nice work. Grab your other strap. Let's go into our balance on the opposite side. Give our legs a little break. You're welcome. So we're going to start that curtsy squat. I'm pressing my left leg all the way behind. So I've got my right leg in, turn out my left leg in rotation. I'm pushing up into my balance point, flipping my palms, keeping my torso nice and square to the front, so hips, ribs, shoulders are even, pressing through the straps, right? As soon as I lose contact with that, it's going to be a little more challenging for me to find the support to come back up. Use your abs and try to press through the ball of your foot. So if you notice your knees locking or your weight's a little bit more in the back heel, it might be a little more challenging here too. Right, I can take a smaller squat to protect the knees. Maybe for more of a challenge, floating that back leg up. Easy breath as you engage the abs to come back through. Sending the leg. Halfway here. Easy breath. I'm just kind of food for thought, noticing what feels easier for you from side to side. It's always just nice to kind of keep tabs on those things so that you can isolate what you want to strengthen or gain range in. Last one here. Making sure that supporting knee is really tracked over your toes on your squat here. All right, let's go into the row on the other side. So you can drop your right strap, pull your left strap tight, and then find your alignment. Shoulders roll back and open so your scapula is in a slight retraction here before we lengthen, and then exhale to pull. You can also check in to make sure you're finding a little bit of a scapula contraction before you bend that elbow. Right arm can be anywhere to give you feedback. Noticing which side feels easier. Great way again to gain a little more strength is to go slower when you extend out on the eccentric pull. Last one here. We're gonna add our twist. So reaching your right hand for the strap, twisting towards that left shoulder and elbow. And then you're gonna unfurl, bending the legs, opening out, push through the legs, and twist. Just trying to get a little bit of thoracic rotation to our workout today. If you want to play with the extension, if that feels good, little baby back bend there, or if a plank feels better for you to add a little more load into that arm, a little more challenge. We'll take one here to finish. Let your eyes really rotate with your twist. All right, nice work. We're gonna switch up our straps a little bit. So we're gonna move into a little lunge work facing away. For this, my typical measurement, I'm gonna lengthen my straps, and I wanna find the top handle of my TRX strap about at my knee. And this isn't a totally perfect science, so if you need to make an adjustment and bring it up a little or lower it down a little, I'll give you some signs to kind of look for in this one. So we're gonna lunge facing away. If you have a chair or foam roller and balance is a challenge, I would recommend playing with adding a little support in. You can also do this exercise without the straps if you need. The other thing is if you're looking to up level a little bit more, I will always say you're welcome to add an unstable surface, right, a BOSU, foam cushion, something like that. You can also add a little weight to challenge. So I'll show you these options. You don't have to do either of them, but they can be kind of fun to mix in to your workout. So for this one, I'm gonna hold both of my straps into my left hand. We'll put our left leg in our strap first. If you need some help with balance, this is where sometimes having something to hold on to can really help. If your strap is too high and you feel like you can't drop your hip down, this would be when you want to adjust your straps a little bit lower. Otherwise, you should be good to go. If you have your balance assist, I typically like it in the same hand as the leg that's in my strap to keep my body really square. So what we're gonna do is go into a lunge, a single leg lunge, right? If you don't need your balance support, try reaching the same arm as leg back forward and then pushing to come up. So you can decide how low you go for your lunges here. See if you can try not to press down too much into the back leg. You might find that it affects the knee a little bit if you're kind of gripping and grinding through that. Knee is tracking over my toes. I want to make sure that I'm really pressing out into my outer hip and using my inner thigh and my abs to come up so that my knee isn't bowing in. Now again, you can do any of this, so we'll keep going with our lunges without your strap. You're still lunging, but the other option to make it a little more exciting is to grab a weight. And you can hold the weight at your chest. We're just adding a little bit more load here. You can also play with a single arm press. So we'll give you those variations today. There's a lot more fun that we can do with these. Let's try one more here. You can let your foot go out of that. Careful as you switch to the other side. If you've got any of these props that you're using, set them on the appropriate size that you need. This time we'll grab our strap and put our right foot in our TRX strap here. So again, if you've got a little bit of support for balance, I recommend keeping it on the same side as the leg that's in back. That can just kind of help you stabilize across your body. If you're not using the foam roller, you're going to bring kind of like a running arm. Bring that right arm forward, all over a little bit. It's all about the practice. And then noticing if that knee is wanting to fall in, can you press out a little bit more with your outer hip? If none of this feels good, feel free to let that foot drop, coming into a regular lunge. Maybe you want to add a little load for a little more challenge. Abs are working here. Maybe playing with that press. Maybe about 3 more. Only going as low as you can support. Good posture. Last one. Nice. All right, let's get rid of these props if you had them. We're going to keep our straps in the exact same position here. We're going to come into a little kneeling arm work. So the mat half of your knees are a little sensitive. And simply just to pull your mat up and give it a couple rolls. Once you feel like it's of a level that feels pretty good for you, then you've got your instant knee pad. So for this one, we're going to start with the straps in the same place. Same idea of moving back for more challenge, being a little more forward or underneath your straps for less. You can also lengthen your straps if you feel like you want more once you do this guy a couple times. We kind of did this variation standing. Now we're going to do a kneeling version. So my triceps, but now just from the knees up. I'm going to come into my tricep and exhale to press away. Trying to keep that plank position. If your feet come up with you, that's totally fine. Go with kind of what naturally happens. But I want you to really concentrate on keeping the low back long. So you're trying to, without tucking the bum under, lengthen the tailbone down and keep the abs on here as you take your triceps. We'll take about 2 more like this. Then we're going to play with another variation. All right. Sit back, you can take a little child's pose here with your arm in the straps, or if you prefer, you can take the hands out of the straps and take a child's pose. For the next variation, we're going to do a fall out. So I'm in my same setup, wrist in line with my shoulders. This time I'm going to bring my whole body forward, and exhale to press. Arms are straight but not locked. If you need a little more support, a nice hack can be to bring your handles together. Kind of just like when we added alternative thighs. It can give us a little bit more support if we're feeling a little bit unstable. Draws us a little bit more into our midline. Go for 2 more here. Easy breath. Long through the neck. And then take a little breath. Grab a drink of water if you would like. We're going to transition to a little shoulder bridge and a little plank work. So you can unfurl your mat. We will occasionally come down onto our knees in between our plank work. So if you want to keep your mat folded, that's also totally fine. I'll kind of show you don't really need it too much for your shoulder bridge exercises. So we're going to start with a little ab warm-up before we get into those two. We're going to face lying on our backs. I'm away from my pig point, so my head is underneath. And I'm going to use my hands in either, depending on your arm length, your handles or your foot loops. You just want to make sure that your strap is totally taut. So I'm underneath my pig point, and I'm going to float my legs up into a tabletop position. Now, ideally, I'm maintaining imprint, but if you want a little more of a challenge, you can come into neutral as long as your core is supporting your low back. I'm going to take a toe tap, and then I'm going to press down through the straps and roll up just into the bottom of my rib cage. And by pressing through the strap and keeping that constant tension, I'm going to lengthen my spine back down. So, slightly easier version, take that toe tap out, just press and roll up and work the control there. Seeing if you can slow down, so you can use that eccentric control, so you can slow down that roll down back onto the mat. And then to add a little more challenge, throw that toe tap back in without letting your ribs pop, your low back pop, or your abs bulge. If you want a little more still, just lengthen the legs. So now, get a little bit more load through my abdominals with my legs long. I'm not going to tap, I'm just going to come up to a hover. And listen to your body, listen to your breath, notice. Maybe it's just a little reach away from center. Maybe it's a hover all the way down. Couple more here. Right, so we want to make sure our abs are really on for our plank work. And last one. Easy breath in, really slow down that roll as long as possible. Nice, and you can drop your straps. Come on up, and we'll transition into our shoulder bridge and our plank series. So this time I'm flipping around, so now my feet are towards my anchor point. I'm going to take my fingers into my foot loops, and I'm going to roll down and take them with me. Once I'm down on the mat, I'm going to take my heels and place them into my foot loops. Now if I point my toes, my strap will fall away. So I want to think about really flexing my toes towards my shins. And I want to come into about a tabletop position here. If it's comfortable for you and if you can, try squeezing your knees together because that will give you, again, kind of like that strap hack. It gives you a little bit more unity if we come into the midline. So if that's feeling comfortable in the knees, in the hips, squeeze those inner thighs together. We're going to take a couple shoulder bridge. So my arms are down by my side. I'm using my abdominals. I'm going to scoot, using glutes and hamstrings and inner thighs to lift my hips. Watching I don't go so high so that I'm not in my neck at the top. Then I'm going to lengthen and lower back down. We're just going to take a couple like this. So hopefully you're feeling your hamstrings. This is a ton of lower hamstring, and you might find it's a little more challenging than your regular Pilates bridge to get as much articulation. But challenge yourself to find it where you can, just as a good practice. For 2 more like this. Easy breath, trying to find that length. Last one. Rolling all the way back down, lengthen your legs. You can open and close them, just let those hamstrings release for a moment. We're gonna go up and we're gonna try to take 8 in and outs. So knee extension with our bum lifted. Won't be your top position for your shoulder bridge, but try to lift it about 3 inches, 5 inches off the mat. So take a nice breath in. Again, if you can keep those inner thighs together, exhale to lift your hips. So I've got my abs supporting to keep my low back safe. And then I'm gonna press out without locking my knees and pull back in using my glutes and hamstrings. While I've got this fun isometric hold, right, not only through my hips, but also my abs. And luckily I've lost count, so we're gonna do 3 more. 2, and last one, pull your knees in, roll all the way down, lengthen your legs out, and take a couple swings of the legs there. So we'll come into a little plank work. Now again, you can do any of this floor work without your straps. So a great way to take a little bit of the workout, decrease the load, is just to take your feet out of the straps. I'm not talking if you're getting into your TRX straps or plank, you can do it however you want, but the official way, right hand on your right strap, left hand on your left strap. You're gonna place your right foot, that's my arch here, in the middle of my left strap. Now I'm gonna take my left leg, and I'm gonna place it in my right strap, arch kind of right in the middle of my strap. And I'm gonna turn towards my top leg. So in this case, my left leg's on top, I'm gonna turn towards the right. And to that, I'm in my plank position. So if you need to adjust your knees in this situation at all with a pad, feel free to take that time. So we're gonna start to begin with a little abduction of the legs. So you wanna make sure that your wrists are not in, or rather my shoulders aren't in internal rotation. My fingers aren't pointing towards each other, but they're forward or maybe even a little bit of external rotation so I can really open my chest. I want to make sure my shoulders are over my wrists here. And then when I'm ready to press up, I'm going to press up and squeeze my inner thighs together and really pike almost through my low abdominals and find that nice imprint lift. Now, usually pointing through the toes can help keep the straps from wiggling. Make sure you're keeping equal tension through both straps. And we're just doing a little ab in here. So abduction and adduction of the legs, thighs away towards each other. And I'm actively pressing out of the ground every single time I'm reaching my legs away. Alliance. Right. 3 more here. 2, long through the spine, and then take a little rest. So just to make this a little more exciting, since we only have a few minutes left, we're gonna throw in some elbow saws in between. So I'm gonna come down to my forearm, and I can measure wrists to forearms, and then whatever position feels best for you in terms of your palm orientation, you're gonna press up again into your plank. Now again, you wanna watch out for sagging through the low back, so really push away. Think about piking, almost like you're gonna pike into a handstand. And then we're just gonna take some tiny little rocks, front to back. You can imagine you're dragging your body towards you and pressing away. The whole time you're refreshing that tension, not only through the straps, but in your thighs, low core, and shoulders. Next, we'll go for about 3, and 2, last one, and then take a little rest. All right, so for our next push-up, we're gonna add, or rather plank position, we're gonna add a double knee, just like we did with our shoulder bridge. This time we're pulling both of our knees in like a pike. If you are not using the straps, mountain climbers are a good substitute for this exercise. So again, checking to make sure that your wrists are in a good position, your shoulders are over your palms. We're gonna extend into our plank position. Now I'm gonna press away like crazy through my arms as I pull my knees into my chest, and then I'm gonna lengthen away. Now if you want a little more work here, you're welcome to throw in a push-up in between each set. The most important part here is as you lengthen, we want to lengthen without dipping. So I'm pulling in, but here's where the real work has to happen. is on that leg extension. Take about 2 more. Easy breath, rest when you need. And then take a little rest. Nice work, you guys. Okay, so it's time to do another elbow stop. So we'll throw it in. So placing, again, that measurement, wrists to elbows, letting the palms follow for whatever keeps you the most open, supported in your shoulders. We're gonna come up into that elbow plank again, and then come back to that saw. So again, as we saw, we're trying to keep the plank position, link through the low back. Low core is on like crazy. Inner thighs are active. Try not to sink in between your shoulder blades. Keep that pressure out of the mat. And ankles nice and strong, as we saw, front to back. We'll go for about 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice work. Take your feet out of your straps. You get to take a real child's pose this time. If you want to add the straps in, you're welcome to grab them. A couple of great options are reaching your palms forward, flipping the palms open to the sky. Feel a little bit of a stretch through the shoulder there, or taking your TRX straps, hands in the foot loop, or your handles, and letting the head fall through the arms for a little bit more of a stretch, kind of going back into that snow angel exploration. Right, if undulating is calling to you in your child pose, that can be really nice. Take about 2 more breaths in whatever child's pose you have found yourself in. And then carefully we'll come all the way up to a seat. And we're just going to finish with our roll down that we started with today. So a great challenge is standing up without your hands, whatever creative way you have to do that. And then pop those straps back up towards the top here by finding your yellow tab, pulling down in your buckle, and lifting those straps one at a time. Coming back to that starting position, so I just put the yellow tabs at the top. And then with your palms facing down, feet, again about hip distance, you're going to roll down that imaginary wall. So nodding your chin, feeling your spine away, reaching forward. Whether you have straight or bent knees, take a nice breath in, and then pressing down through the straps for your feet, scooping. Roll all the way back up. And as you take about 3 more roll downs here, just noticing any changes in how your body is feeling. So maybe fatigue or relaxation or any opening range that you have access to now. Let's take 1 more here. Finding some length, driving down through the feet, scooping the abdominals to roll all the way back up. And I'll leave you guys with that today. Thanks so much for joining. We'll be back this week with a ton of other classes on the schedule: mat, sculpt, foam rolling, hopefully some more TRX too. And look out for some new mini 30-minute video workouts online that you can check in and kind of get some inspiration for different props and different workouts just to spice things up a bit. But thanks so much for coming. And if you have any questions or any requests, please feel free to email the studio. Any questions for me personally or any modifications that you have questions about. Yeah, we love to hear from you, and we can't wait to work out with you again. So bye, you guys.